These next stories underscore the dangers of policies intended to limit abortion access. Whether financial or because of mandated counseling requirements and waiting periods, restrictions take shape in many ways and can influence women more than ever. There have been 288 state-level abortion restrictions in the last 5 years, more than 1/4 of the 1,074 restrictions that have been enacted in the 43 years since Roe v. Wade. States have now decided that for a woman's safety, she must be forced to listen to medically inaccurate information about her abortion, wait up to 72 hours before the procedure, and then undergo a medically unnecessary and costly and invasive ultrasound. These restrictions drive up costs, delay early abortion care, and interfere with the relationship between patient and healthcare provider. Treasurer Mackley and Sarah Kiesler are here to talk about these barriers. Treasure is the political and organizing director for Planned Parenthood Votes Northwest and Hawaii. Sarah grew up in a strict anti-choice Catholic home. She is now a volunteer for the CARE Project, an abortion fund hotline. Welcome, Treasure and Sarah.
Hi, my name is Treasure Mackley, and I'm the Political and Organizing Director with Planned Parenthood Votes Northwest. And this is my story. This past summer was my 20-year high school reunion. I didn't go. It also marks 20 years since I had my abortion. I found out I was pregnant the day after I graduated from high school. I was so excited to graduate and be done with high school and get on to the business of being an adult. Like many graduates, I had an elaborate plan to hang out with my friends on graduation night and party. That night, we popped some cheap sparkling wine, I can't even call it champagne, and I tried to drink it. I couldn't. I threw up at the mere smell. Not to be deterred, I thought, well, maybe vodka's more my style tonight. Nope, same result. After doing my darndest to get drunk and not being able to stomach even the smell, I started to get an inkling. Could I be? Oh God. Oh no. Trying to do the math. When was my last period? Oh shit. The next day, I called my best friend. Her parents were out of town. We went to the store, bought 2 pregnancy tests, and went back to her place. As I peed on the little stick, and then saw the 2 lines come up clear as day, my heart sank. I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and being a teenage mom wasn't uncommon. I had a number of friends who had babies in high school, and I knew it was the last thing I wanted. About a week later, I called the one abortion clinic in my state. I knew I was pregnant. There was absolutely no denying it. I didn't know how far along. I just knew that I did not want to be pregnant. This was not the time. I was able to get an appointment 2 weeks later. I spent that 2 weeks finding a job, trying to figure out how I was going to raise the nearly $400 to pay for the procedure. My boyfriend worked double shifts, and we were able to raise the funds. Finally, the day came, or so I thought. We went down to the clinic. The young woman at the desk checked me in, took my information, and then informed me that she was required by the state to give me this information, as she handed me pamphlets with photos similar to the ones the protesters were holding outside. I met with the nurse, and then finally the doctor came in. After the pelvic exam and confirming my pregnancy, I would be required to have an ultrasound, and she would be required by law to tell me certain information. I remember asking if she agreed with it. As she hooked up the ultrasound, she proceeded to tell me things clearly aimed for me to change my mind. I was so uncomfortable. I asked her if she could stop talking. She said that by law she couldn't, but that they couldn't force me to listen or to watch. It was at that moment I knew this is what it feels like when politics enters the doctor's office. At the end of the ultrasound, she told me that because of Utah state law, I would be required to wait 3 days before I was able to have the procedure. I went home and I waited, the longest 3 days of my life. Finally, the day came, and I had a feeling of relief, knowing that it would soon all be over. 3 days later, I came back to the clinic and had my abortion. I've never felt so relieved. I was 18, and I knew that I didn't want to be pregnant. I wasn't ready to be a parent. I don't know if I knew then how important and impactful having an abortion would be on my life. For the last nearly 20 years, I have fought for women's access to abortion, to keep more women from having to face the barriers that I faced, mandatory waiting periods, and biased counseling. This summer, I missed my high school reunion because I gave birth to my son. Having my abortion enabled me to be the person I am today, the activist, the woman, and the mother. There we are.